Hey everybody, welcome back to Dad Does Videos. Today we are going to replace this thermostat with a new Google Nest Learning Thermostat. So first things first, well, before you even get to this point, you should probably check if your system is compatible with a Nest Learning Thermostat. You can do that at the Nest website. They even have some chat capabilities, so if you're not quite sure, you could chat with somebody 24/7, I believe. And then secondly, you want to shut off the power to your system. So we'll do that and come back with the next step. Okay, so we turn the power off to our system. And if you're not sure how to do that, typically in your breaker box, there are breakers labeled AC and furnace. Just flip those to the off side. There are some systems that you can turn off. In the basement, it looks like a light switch, but it's labeled typically as you're heating an AC, and you want to turn that one off too, just to make sure you've got everything covered. The next step is to just pop your thermostat top off, and that's what I've done here. Typically, they just flip right off, but again, make sure you turned off all your power to do that. And then you're going to want to take a picture of your wires set up here to remember what those look like when you're moving forward and rewiring the wires on the Nest. Also included within the Google Nest package that you get are labeling wires, and that's what we're going to do right now. They included little stickers that you just use to label each of these wires. So when we come back, you'll see a little label on this green wire that says G, one on this wire that says Y, and so on and so forth. If you do have a jumper cable, and that's one of these that jumps from one of these labels, one of these holes to another, you'll just need to remove that. The Nest system doesn't use jumper cables. Okay, so you can see what these sticky labels look like once I attach them to the wires. They're just real small, just indicators of C goes here, G goes over here, you've got the WE going in here, so on and so forth. So what I'll do next is loosen all these screws to take all these wires out, and then I'll remove the wires and take the actual thermostat plate off too. So the next shot we'll see is just the wires coming out of the wall. One thing I forgot to mention, when you start to remove the wires to loosen the screws, don't worry if you don't have a little screwdriver. The Nest actually comes with this handy dandy little screwdriver, and it's just the perfect size to get right in there. Okay, so we've got our thermostat completely off the wall now. The wires are all labeled, as you can see. What we're going to do next is put the base of the Nest on the wall. You can see those two holes, one above and one below. The Nest comes with screws that you use to just drill right into the wall. You can see that level in the blue right up there. So it's got an included level that you can make, so you can make sure your Nest will be level. So we'll do that and come back. Okay, so here's the Nest base up with the trim plate right behind it. So what you basically do if you're going to use the trim plate is just snap that into the Nest plate and then just use the screws to drill them kind of both in at the same time. The next thing that we're going to do is plug the wires into the different slots. You could see the different names of the wires on the gray parts along the side. That's why we labeled these. You can see one of my labels is coming off. They could have a little bit more stickiness to them, those little stickers that they give you. But the way you do this is, if we had a weight for the Y one, you just press the button down and slide the wire into their holes on the side. Let me see if you can see the holes right here. And the way that you know the wire's in there securely is if when you press after you press the button down and slide your wire in, the button should stay down by itself. If it doesn't, then it's not in and you have to try that again. So we'll go ahead and do that. So you can see all the wires are hooked into the relevant spots. You can see all the buttons are pushed down, WC there, and on this side, the Y, the G, and the RC. I also push the wires in a little bit to make them somewhat flush with the Nest, because the next thing we're gonna do, at least with the Nest base, the next thing we're gonna do is actually put the Nest on top, and we'll grab it and make it right side up, and then you should be able to just push it onto this base and hear it click. Okay, so I popped the Nest on, it clicked right in, and then after that I went to the breaker panel and turned on the breakers for my AC and heating, and then turn on the basically the switch at the system to make sure that's powered on right now. So I'm going to just walk through the setup right here, and we should be good to go. I think one thing that's not evidently clear when you go through this is how to actually operate this, unless I completely missed it. So you twist the dial to move up and down, and then when you find the selection that you want, you just press down on the Nest. Pretty cool, huh? So you'll step through lots of different choices where you confirm your language, where your home's located, you connect to your wireless, and then you get to this point, which is kind of a neat feature because the Nest will basically show on the screen the wires that you just connected, just to double check. I thought I'd call this out just because it's pretty cool. A series of tests with the Nest. As you can see right here, we did a quick test to see if the air conditioner was working. We did one with the furnace as well. It just walks you through, tests the furnace, tests the air conditioner. One thing to just keep in mind here is that once it tells you that air conditioner has been turned off or the furnace has been turned off, you just need to wait a couple minutes, because it takes your system a couple minutes to actually kind of connect and for the fan to actually turn off. So don't get too fired up if the fan doesn't turn off right away. Just give it a couple minutes and wait. So once everything's set up, you'll want to actually get the Nest app on your phone and walk through the setup directions on there, and eventually you'll get to a point when your app is connected to your thermostat, and you'll get something like this on your display. You can see that it's showing the current temperature outside, what time it is here, the current degrees in my house, and the current humidity level. You can use your Nest or your phone to change the temperature in your house, or when you want the heat to come on or the air conditioning to come on, and set some schedules and do all that kind of fun stuff. So that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe and like.